Yo, what's up eggsoup gamers? This is going to be a review of the big announcements that came out just earlier today. It was less than an hour ago. I was live streaming the dev stream. The first thing here is the guilds. Now, something about this is there's a lot of announcements, and I'm going to try to go through it concisely, give a review, a reaction. This one is the one I am the biggest fan of. So you can see right here, there is a guild. There are things like a Discord in game. There are contributions that you make, that your guild makes, the guild time. We've seen this screen before though. What they showed this time was the rest of it. So there is a members tab that I didn't show just now, but the guild missions is interesting. So you're earning these points. By the way, this egg boy is not me right now. This is the footage from the live stream. So you can do things like play Brawlhalla games to earn points, reach diamond with a certain number of people, win guild battles against other guilds, which we'll get into in a little bit. And of course, there's all these other things that you can read right here. Just this screen alone makes me hopeful. I think having a system for the game that encourages the creation of sub-communities, we're going to see later there's also a leaderboard, having things that encourage people to come together as a team and play more. There's obviously an element of social pressure there where it's like, oh, we gotta log in to make sure that our guild is doing okay. And just getting people more engaged with aspects of the game that don't require them to just be the best people in the world. Of course, there are things like ranked 2v2, reach diamond, all that kind of stuff. But I think that's cool, right? Like if your teammate is really good, maybe you're guild leader and you're falling behind, your team is 2 out of 15 for reaching diamond to earn your guild points, then you can team up as a team and you'll be like, hey, let's get better together, let's try to get you diamond, and in doing so, you're elevating the skill of your team. I think that's pretty cool. Let's move on now to the next section, which is the guild duels. This is what I was talking about earlier. So every week, you're going to be pitted up against another guild based on where you are on the leaderboards. And whoever earns more points in that week is going to win. And you can see a little bit of information. You can see the top performers per team. You can see the average elo, the number of wins, all that kind of stuff. So that's cool, like encouraging more community warfare, this kind of thing. So when you encounter someone in another guild in ranked, you have a chance to earn points for your team. There's also a chance to lose points. I think that's kind of cool. So overall, this system is really great. Of course, we can see the leaderboards here. If you're not aware, guilds are replacing clans. So the clan system will no longer exist. All existing clans, I believe, will be converted into guilds, and you can see the existing XP that you got in your clan is still retained as this legacy system. They don't want to say like, hey, this didn't matter at all, but the new guild points are going to be what matters for the leaderboards and the weekly rewards. So this is the thing that's really interesting. I'm going to move into the recruitment section here just so you can see what that looks like if they are going to show it. I don't exactly know where this was in the VOD. I'm kind of figuring this out live during this review, but that's okay. Yeah, so this is the recruitment section. You can see you can find publicly listed clans, which is cool. So overall, I think this is amazing. This is something that Brawlhalla really needs. I think it could really benefit from, and I really hope it pays off. Because for me, I think the kicker here is going to be if the rewards are worth it, then people will be more engaged. If the rewards for participating in your clan, in your guild, excuse me, and doing these guild battles is not particularly appealing, then I don't think people will be as engaged, and it can't reach the peaks that it has the potential to. By the way, they are coming in 2025. This is what they're saying. They want it to be as fully functional as possible, and I mentioned this in the live stream. We can go back to a couple of these screens, that doing these types of announcements is risky. Because ultimately, if you're a game dev and you say, oh, this thing is going to come out soon, the whole community, anytime you make any kind of announcement afterwards, any kind of stream, they're going to be like, where's guilds, where's guilds, where's guilds? And that is, I mean, that's not great. That's not great to have there. So the fact that they are making this announcement this far in advance, knowing they're going to get scrutinized and backlash for it, I think is something that we should be like, okay, hey, you know what? Let's chill, let's give them their time, because I think that if this system is done well, it'll be great for the game. It'll honestly revolutionize a lot. So guilds, I'm a big fan of this. I think this could be a game changer, especially for developing small sub communities, and the fact that there is inbuilt like Discord integration, seeing all of these statistics on your members and everything. I think that's cool. So let's move on now from guilds to the next big announcement, which they talked about experimental 1v1 changes. It was funny because in the stream, right after the guilds change, people said like, wow, they're really doing guilds before unranked 1v1. We went on like a 20-minute tangent about unranked 1v1, how it's not being added into the game and how that kind of blows. But the biggest reason was like, oh, experimental's already there. We don't want to split the queues. Lo and behold, the very next announcement, unranked 1v1 queue. So here's what's happening. Unranked 1v1, yeah, they did a big camera thing here, is being officially added to the game, replacing experimental. Experimental will only run for short periods of time with more dramatic changes. So what's going to happen is it's going to be unranked 1v1 most of the time. And then if they have an experimental feature they want to test out, they're changing unranked 1v1 to experimental for that short period of time, getting the concise feedback, and then switching it back. So I think this is a very smart system. It's pretty sweet. I really do hope they utilize it and go crazy with experimental. I've been talking about that for years, and I think that's really good for the game. I think this can be really excellent, and even if they don't use experimental to its full potential, at the very least, we have unranked ones. They did say when this launches, you're not going to have the option to turn off gadgets, but eventually they're planning on adding that. The next thing is scoring changes to free-for-all, and I should say my reaction to that. I mean, I've been asking for it for years. I'm very happy. I'm very, very happy. This free-for-all change is interesting. So this is one that I don't think will affect most people watching this video, just inherently from the player base of free-for-all. Most people that play free-for-all, I don't think are super active in the community necessarily, compared to those that engage with ranked and stuff. But this is a big change. So you're noticing per hit, the score changes as opposed to only on KO, and the goal of this is to eliminate that whole thing where KOs are the only thing that matters, so people are just going to run away, hold on to their stocks, only try to cherry pick stocks. This is going to encourage actually fighting, actually going forward. And then of course you get additional rewards for a KO or for a big hit. I think this is really smart. I do think it has to be done carefully because, you know, Katars versus Hammer might be a very different type of situation. So the scoring will have to be balanced, but ultimately I think this is a good change. I think this is a smart change. And I hope to see more people enjoy free-for-all more. Something I mentioned on stream, I don't know how realistic this is, but this means that playing free-for-all, and if you're hitting multiple people at once, you also get multiple points. Playing free-for-all is like Sig Spam Haven, but I do think if you're using primarily light attacks and you're getting combos, you're probably going to rack up points faster. So maybe that will also help show some newer players like, oh, maybe these are some combos that I can utilize and get rewarded for. I don't know how realistic that is once again, but overall good change. So far they're 3 for 3. This is excellent. This is excellent. Of course, it depends on follow through, but some pretty good announcements. The next one, got a little bit of a spoiler there, is the event center. So this is exciting. This is a new overhaul to their events going forward to just be better for most players, to have more free rewards, and to be, I think, less of just we're gonna change the main menu and that's it, and we're gonna add like a skin. This is now an event where there's missions to get tickets, and you can get items from those tickets. Look at these emotes; they're actually pretty good, I would say. An avatar, not an avatar, excuse me, an emote, emoji skin, and a sidekick. I was thinking the word sidekick. I couldn't quite get there. So this first event is Brawlhalla Fest. It's coming out tomorrow. And this is it's themed around the graphic novel. This is good. More things for players that you don't have to pay for it, and then there's a color scheme you can earn with every legend. As I fast forward here, it's called Art Deco. You can see it on the right side of the screen there. And then you get these new daily missions where you can unlock the things in the event. So I think this is good. I think this is another thing that really depends on the reward. So obviously this is great. This is better than we normally have for events. If there was a skin that you can unlock just by playing, that would, I think, be such a game changer. I really do. So here they're like launching something that I think is good for most players in the game, and I'm saying, let's make it better. So maybe I'm being a little bit dismissive there of the effort, but this required a system overhaul for them to implement, and I should say that everything here did. So they were working in secret on things on the back ends to overhaul their system so they could actually implement these new things. This is part of why things have taken a while, is what they're saying. And this is good. I think this is good. Obviously, there's an element where it's like, oh, if you just pay, then you're gonna skip the line, and they want people to just pay for this thing. And I think that's true, probably. Like the ultimate goal of these games is you get people to play with these daily login rewards, and then you get the whales to spend as much money as possible. I think as long as these free rewards are not obscene in how much effort and how much time it takes, paying to skip the line and paying to skip the grind is not as big of a deal. I think if we're really looking at things zoomed out, it's not the best thing in the world, and it's genre specific to free-to-play games with in-game monetization. But this is still a step in the right direction for sure. And having these types of things is good for them because it's good news. Like if they're launching bundle after bundle after bundle, and we're gonna get into some stuff later that's relevant to that, then the overall news and the overall sentiment is like, oh my god, they just care about money. But if they pair those types of updates with more things for free players that you can get for free, then it's like, I think, more understandable when they have monetization that tends to be expensive. Because then it's like, okay, you know what? They still gotta have the lights on, and they're implementing these things for us. I'm gonna get to the partner creator program at the end, which I realized because it was the end of the stream. It's really sitting on my mind. I want to talk about it right away, but I'm gonna hold off because I have a lot to say on that. Next thing though is the Brawlhalla Fest event. So here are the colors. There's also the Nyx skin, which is quite cool, I will say. I don't know if I have the specific footage here lined up either. I came a little bit unprepared, I'm gonna be honest with you. The Nyx skin is the first skin to ever have a changed KO trail effect. So when you hit your opponent, it's going to look different. Actually, it's after this section. Let me zoom out a little bit here. And that means, yeah, we can see it right here. That means, I don't know how expensive this is gonna be, but the skin itself is pretty cool. This is the epic skin paired with the event. At the very least, it looks like Nyx, so we're circumventing some of the pay to win stuff, but this changed trail effect is the main selling point, is what it seems like. I do think the sig effects are quite cool. The blasters down sig, especially the scythe down sig, these on hit effects are pretty nice. They're gonna show the blasters down sig here in a little bit. I really honestly don't care about skins that much, so it's whatever. Like if I buy it, it's because I'm making a video. I don't buy things in games like ever, so this is not a big deal to me, but I know this is a main drawing point to a lot of people in the event, so it is what it is. There's custom light attack SFX, there's custom heavy attack, of course, and then these custom smoke trails as well. I don't know how expensive it's gonna be, but it's probably gonna be pricey. You know, there's a lot that went into this one compared to an average skin, so they're able to justify the pricing for that. Next up, we have this is the same section. We have a bundle coming out. I'm a big bundle hater. I'm a really big bundle hater. I mean, you've heard me talk about bundles. Here's a new map, by the way. This one is okay because it doesn't have any exclusive items in it. If you want everything in the bundle, the best way to get it is the bundle. It's going to be cheaper, so that's fine. That's whatever. Oh, here it is. I found it. And I erased it immediately. There we go. There's the bundle. All right, the next big announcement. This is one that's very exciting. This is BCX 2015, and you're going to see right here, it's hosted in Gateway Center Arena, Atlanta, Georgia. So BCX up to this point has been hosted in the Cobb Galleria, and these words might be gobbledygook nothing. They might mean nothing to you. Cobb Galleria is like a hotel venue. It's where they host a lot of these typical fighting game events, tournaments. It's where, I don't know, like any kind of event will likely be held in something like that. We're changing things up. So this year, BCX $200,000 prize pool in a sports arena. That's pretty sick. So Brawlhalla actually has been in a sports arena once before. It was at DreamHack Montreal 2019, was in the old Olympic Stadium, which is pretty sweet. But yeah, that was different because it's not a Brawlhalla only event. This is a Brawlhalla only event. They have the whole thing to themselves, all the panels, all the stations, everything. So that's pretty sweet. That is that's a big change. And the fact that they have a $200,000 prize pool in this era of esports, I don't know if y'all know this, esports is not doing too well. Esports is doing pretty bad, in fact. All the money dried up, it's all gone. All the venture capitalist funds, it's gone. So the fact that we have this thriving scene still, incredible. I mean, that's just incredible. I would love to go. This is the 10th BCX from 2016 to 2025. The 8th LAN iteration of it, if I'm not mistaken there. I would love to go. I just can't afford it right now. So we'll see. We'll see. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna go. I gotta figure that out. I would love to. I don't think it's feasible, but 10th BCX would be crazy to not go. So we'll see. We'll see. The last thing here. Now every announcement so far has been pretty incredible. Honestly, it's been really good. They kind of cooked here. This is the one that made me really disappointed. So if you don't know, leading up to this stream, they announced it a month ago, and one of the 3 things they said they were really going to talk about is the change to the partner program. So if you don't know, the Brawlhalla partner program, I'm not in it anymore. I left of my own accord, and basically it's like new things come out, like a skin or an update, like crossovers. They give you the codes, and you're able to use them in your videos and your streams. This is all public information here. They even mentioned it on this stream right here. So that's the way that it works right now. The change to the partner program is nothing. So basically the big announcement is that they are opening up applications to the program in June, which is in a month. And that's great. You know, I'm a big fan of that. But the program itself is really lackluster. It's very, very bare bones. And I've been a pretty vocal supporter or proponent of having greater incentives for creators, because I really do think it is the primary way that people engage with video games now is through creators. And obviously I directly would benefit from any kind of change, so if you think that sullies my perspective here, then that's totally fair. It probably does, but I think some kind of incentive monetarily, whether it's Twitch drops, whether it's creator codes, would be such a massive investment that will pay off in dividends, because not only are you encouraging people to make more videos on the new content, the skins that come out, the shop, right? Encouraging people to use the shop. Maybe that's a little sinister, but that ultimately is what's going to happen. You're also going to encourage people to make better things, more people to make more videos, to make better videos, to stand out, to make more streams, to host more events, like all of that, and then receive some kind of kickback from that too. Some kind of reward for that, I think, would be crazy. If I'm being really honest, like the creator program right now, it's better than nothing, and I think it's really hard to have this kind of conversation without sounding extremely ungrateful, because of course having some kind of support rather than like directly being oppositional is incredible. That's not necessarily normal in every game out there, but for the rewards to be so minimal when you're advertising this as like a big announcement, it does feel a little insulting to be like, we're giving you in-game coins for the stuff you're doing in our community. So I don't know. Maybe that's being ungrateful. Maybe I'm being very selfish, but I was quite disappointed with this announcement, being that they're only opening it up to more applicants. Again, that's great. I would love more applicants. I think that's really awesome, but that was quite a disappointment. So that's my thoughts on that one. You notice they had a Scholastic update that was on the screen for a little bit. This is one of the best things they've ever done. I think this is amazing. It's direct support to schools that have Brawlhalla programs. So if you started an esports club, if your teacher started up an esports club or something like that, you can contact them and they're going to give you direct support for that. Amazing. I mean, this is so cool. If that was in my school, I would be so, I don't know, I'd just be so pumped that the developers are officially supporting my tiny little school scene and putting time into that. That's great. That's a 10 out of 10 decision. I think it's amazing. Unfortunately, it was followed up by the partner creator program announcements. I'm just annoyed. I'm just a little annoyed, because if they didn't say like a month ago, oh, big update to the partner creator program, I don't think I'd be as disappointed. But the fact that it was one of the 3 selling points of this big announcement was unfortunate. It was unfortunate. Anyway, the last thing they mentioned was the Brawlhalla fan kit, which is like a big dump of assets for Brawlhalla fans, and you can use like all of the splash art, all the official art, all of these animations. That's really great. That's also amazing. So I think overall the announcements in this dev stream were really fantastic. It was like 10 out of 10 up until they hit the point, which is most personally relevant to me and maybe least personally relevant to you, which is funny. But yeah, I was quite disappointed with the creator stuff. I was very excited by everything else. They also said the newest legend will come out quite soon. So, or will be announced quite soon, I should say. Not come out quite soon, I don't know about that. So there's the patch. That's everything that happened here today. I hope you enjoyed this type of review. I've never done something like this before, but I feel like it's kind of rambling on the eggsoup channel. It's more reminiscent of how my main channel used to be. Is gonna be cool. I'm gonna go back to working on this documentary. I'm kind of in the trenches right now. Hopefully I can get it out by the end of May. If not, I will be breaking a sponsor contract, and that would be really bad. So I gotta get this done.